Sacred tales, imagine this. You stop having sex, your energy shifts, your spiritual growth skyrockets, and the world begins to unfold its mysteries in ways you never expected. Intrigued, what happens when chosen ones step back from one of the most primal forces in human nature, sex? You might think it's just a physical thing, but trust me, the impact goes much deeper. Let me tell you a story. There's a chosen one, a deeply spiritual person, who had been on their journey of awakening for years. They were connected with the universe, understanding its flow, hearing whispers from their higher self. But there was one thing that always felt like it was holding them back. Their energy was constantly leaking. They realized that every time they engaged in sexual activity, they were leaving behind pieces of their divine power. It wasn't just physical satisfaction they were seeking, it was something deeper. So they made a bold decision. They stopped having sex. What followed was nothing short of a spiritual awakening. Their energy magnified, their visions became clearer, and they discovered a new sense of clarity and purpose in their mission here on Earth. When chosen ones stop having sex, they don't just stop a physical act. They stop the leakage of their spiritual energy, unlocking untapped power that can elevate them to their highest potential. You may be asking, why is sex tied to spiritual power? How does abstinence amplify this energy? I'm about to dive into it, and trust me, the answers will leave you enlightened. Keep watching until the end, because this knowledge will fuel your awakening. Sex is the most powerful force of creation, yet to become truly spiritual, we must learn to master our desires. Point 1. The energy shift. When chosen ones intentionally step away from physical intimacy, they trigger a profound energetic transformation that impacts not just their bodies, but also their spirits and minds. Sexual energy is not merely a physical drive, it's a sacred life force. In fact, many ancient spiritual traditions, from Taoism to Kundalini Yoga, regard sexual energy as a potent form of creative power. During physical intimacy, there's an exchange of this energy, a deeply personal transfer of essence that can either elevate or deplete, depending on the spiritual alignment of the partners involved. For chosen ones, who are already highly sensitive and attuned to energy, this exchange can often feel jarring or heavy, especially if the connection lacks spiritual resonance. Abstaining from intimacy doesn't mean rejecting love, it means protecting sacred energy. Imagine your life force like a reservoir of divine fuel. Each physical encounter, when not rooted in spiritual depth, can siphon off that fuel, leaving you energetically fatigued or emotionally scattered. But when chosen ones conserve this energy and redirect it towards meditation, healing work, or inner development, it begins to amplify rather than diminish. This act of self-mastery shifts their frequency. What once leaked out now builds within, powering intuition, creativity, and purpose. Scientific studies even support this idea. Neuroscience has shown that sexual activity affects dopamine and serotonin levels, chemicals that influence mood, motivation, and mental clarity. When chosen ones choose celibacy or intentional abstinence, they report sharper focus, deeper spiritual downloads, and a greater sense of inner peace. They're no longer tethered to the emotional highs and lows that often accompany sexual relationships, especially those lacking alignment. Instead, they experience a stable, rising connection to their soul's calling. This choice to step back from physical intimacy isn't about repression, it's a redirection. When that potent energy is channeled into personal missions, artistic expression, or divine connection, something magical happens. The chosen one begins to radiate an unshakable power. They walk in clarity, hear their inner voice more clearly, and move through life with a magnetic, purpose-driven presence. They're no longer distracted by temporary pleasures, but instead drawn to lasting spiritual truths. And in that sacred space of intentional energy preservation, they awaken the full power of who they were always meant to be. Point 2. Heightened intuition and spiritual connection. In a world that often prioritizes physical connections and instant gratification, chosen ones are invited to experience a deeper, more profound spiritual journey by transcending the distractions of physical intimacy. The truth is, sex, while beautiful and natural, can sometimes cloud our higher awareness. It has the potential to pull us away from the sacred and elevate our focus on the physical realm rather than on our divine connection to the universe. By practicing abstinence or simply being mindful of our energy, chosen ones find themselves more aligned with their spiritual path, giving them the space to strengthen their intuition and tap into the guidance of their higher self. Without the constant pull of physical desires, you start to notice things you might have previously missed. Signs, synchronicities, and divine messages begin to appear more clearly in your life. These are not random events, they are confirmations from the universe guiding you toward the right path. When you step back from the distractions of the material world, you start receiving answers to your most profound questions. Answers that come effortlessly, as if whispered to you by the universe itself. This heightened awareness is the gift of clarity, a spiritual superpower that allows you to navigate life with confidence and certainty. The beauty of abstaining from physical intimacy is that you no longer give your energy away in ways that tie you to the material world. Instead, you focus on cultivating a deeper connection to the divine energy that surrounds us all. This energy is always present, but distractions can often prevent us from fully absorbing it. As you realign with your spiritual self, you begin to feel more in tune with the rhythms of the universe, almost as if you're moving with a current of divine purpose. You'll find that your connection to the divine becomes undeniable, your intuition sharper, and your spiritual growth leaps forward. For chosen ones, this journey of abstinence isn't about avoiding pleasure, but about finding a deeper, more meaningful connection to yourself and the universe. When you align with your higher self, the world around you shifts in ways that allow you to step into your true power. Point 3, emotional healing and empowerment. Emotional clarity is a powerful state of being that allows us to see our true selves and navigate life without the distortion of unhealed emotions. For many chosen ones, past experiences, especially those tied to intimate encounters, can leave an emotional imprint that lingers long after the moment has passed. These wounds, beliefs, or even karmic ties from past sexual experiences can unconsciously shape the way you move through life, blocking your spiritual progress. The energy exchanged during sexual encounters isn't always easy to shake off. If those encounters weren't rooted in love, or if they left you feeling drained or violated, that emotional residue can hang in your energetic field, making it difficult to heal or move forward. When you choose to stop engaging in sexual activity, you create a powerful shift. By consciously breaking free from these emotional attachments, you allow yourself the space needed to heal. It's not just about refraining from physical contact. It's about empowering yourself to step back from emotional patterns that no longer serve your highest good. You begin to disentangle yourself from unhealthy attachments and start to rebuild your emotional foundation. This intentional break from sex provides you with an opportunity to reflect, process, and heal on a deeper level. Without the influence of physical desires clouding your judgment, you're better able to confront your fears, trauma, and unresolved emotions. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. One by one, you remove the things that no longer align with your true essence, ultimately revealing a more empowered, whole version of yourself. This emotional healing process is a form of liberation. By freeing yourself from past entanglements, you are taking back control of your emotional energy. It's about reclaiming your power, not allowing past experiences to define you. As you release old attachments, you open yourself to new possibilities and begin to see life with greater clarity. You transform into a version of yourself that is no longer bound by the emotional wounds of the past, but instead you rise with newfound strength and a deeper understanding of who you truly are. Point 4. The unseen power of celibacy. Celibacy is an ancient practice embraced by many great spiritual masters throughout history. It wasn't seen as a form of denial, but rather as a conscious choice to conserve and transmute sexual energy. These masters understood something profound. Sexual energy, when not expended, becomes a potent force that can be redirected to elevate every aspect of life. In essence, celibacy wasn't about suppression, but about harnessing energy for a higher purpose. For the chosen ones, abstaining from sex can serve as a gateway to accessing a hidden wellspring of power. By refraining from expelling sexual energy, individuals create space for it to be used more effectively. This practice is not a rejection of natural desires, but a conscious decision to redirect that energy into more purposeful, life-affirming activities. The act of conserving this energy allows it to be transmuted into creativity, manifestation, and even physical or emotional healing. In spiritual traditions, this energy is often seen as the life force, or kundalini, which, when awakened, can lead to a deeper understanding of one's true potential. Think of this sexual energy as an internal reservoir. When you're not continually expelling it, you create a surplus of life force energy that can be channeled into other areas, whether that's pursuing creative endeavors, deepening your spiritual practice, or enhancing your personal growth. This energy can fuel anything from artistic inspiration to intellectual breakthroughs and even physical vitality. It's like tapping into an untapped source of power that's always been there, just waiting to be harnessed. The results of consciously choosing where to place your energy can be profound. Creatively, the absence of distractions and the surplus of energy can spark new ideas, pushing you to create with more depth and insight. Spiritually, celibacy can lead to deeper meditation and a stronger connection to higher realms, as you no longer have the same pull towards earthly desires. Emotionally, the practice fosters clarity and self-control, allowing you to focus on your purpose rather than being diverted by external temptations. In this way, celibacy isn't a restrictive practice, it's an empowerment tool. It's about consciously choosing to invest your energy where it can bring the most benefit, using it to rise higher in all aspects of your life. Point 5, detachment from the material world. Sex is often viewed as a way to connect with others and experience physical pleasure. In the material world, it's a natural desire driven by our bodies and instincts. However, for those walking the path of the chosen ones, there's a deeper understanding of the role sex plays in our lives. It's not about rejecting physical pleasures entirely, but about realizing that these fleeting moments of satisfaction do not lead to long-term fulfillment. Instead of becoming tethered to these earthly desires, chosen ones are called to detach from them, seeing beyond the immediate gratification that sex often represents. When you step away from the constant pull of sexual desires, you begin to experience a powerful sense of liberation. You're no longer driven by the cravings of the flesh that often cloud judgment and create distractions. By removing this attachment, you can elevate your consciousness and experience life from a higher perspective. The mind and spirit are freed from being tied to temporary pleasures, allowing you to focus on your true purpose and connect more deeply with your higher self. This detachment is not about rejecting the physical world altogether, but about reclaiming control over it. In today's society, many people are conditioned to seek validation or pleasure through physical means, including sex. However, those who are spiritually awakened understand that they are more than just their bodies. The flesh is a temporary vessel, and while it can bring enjoyment, it doesn't define who you are. The chosen ones realize that true fulfillment comes not from what they can experience with their senses, but from spiritual growth, inner peace, and alignment with a higher purpose. When you learn to master your desires, you stop allowing them to control your actions. Instead of acting as a servant to your impulses, you become the master of them. This act of detachment from sexual attachment is a powerful way to elevate your life. It brings clarity, allowing you to focus on the things that truly matter and helps you connect with a more profound sense of self. You rise above the distractions of the material world and begin to live a life that is rooted in deeper meaning and fulfillment rather than momentary pleasure. Point 6, clarity of purpose and mission. As a chosen one, your life is infused with a higher purpose, one that transcends the ordinary and taps into the divine. Yet in a world filled with distractions, it's easy to get sidetracked. Relationships, sexual encounters, and emotional attachments can all cloud the clarity needed to fully embrace your calling. These fleeting pleasures, while momentarily fulfilling, often divert your energy from the deeper mission you were meant to fulfill. But what happens when you stop chasing these distractions? When you choose to stop engaging in sexual encounters and remove yourself from draining emotional entanglements, you create space for clarity, purpose, and deeper spiritual understanding. Your energy, once spent on temporary pleasures, is now redirected into something far more powerful, the pursuit of your soul's mission. It's like turning off the noise of the world and tuning into a frequency that resonates with your true calling. This is not about abstinence for the sake of deprivation, but about choosing to honor your higher self by redirecting your energy toward your divine purpose. As you remove the distractions that once clouded your vision, your spiritual path becomes clearer. You begin to see the world and your role in it through a different lens, one that's grounded in purpose, wisdom, and divine intent. Without the pull of fleeting desires, you gain a deeper understanding of why you're here and what you're meant to achieve. This clarity empowers you to walk your path with confidence and unwavering determination. Living your truth becomes not just a goal, but a way of life. You no longer chase after momentary satisfaction because you realize that true fulfillment comes from aligning with your soul's mission. Every decision you make, every step you take, is infused with a sense of greater intention. No longer distracted, you are fully present in the journey, knowing that you are contributing to a purpose far greater than yourself. In embracing this clarity and purpose, you not only elevate your own life, but also serve as an example to others, showing them that true strength lies not in temporary satisfaction, but in living out your divine calling with integrity and commitment. Point 7, strengthening of the divine connection. In a world that constantly glorifies instant gratification, the decision to abstain from sex, especially as a chosen one, is not just radical, it's spiritual warfare. But beyond discipline and self-control, there is a mystical, divine transformation that begins when you redirect your sacred energy inward. Sex is not merely a physical act, it's a spiritual exchange. When two people connect intimately, they don't just share their bodies, they exchange energies, beliefs, vibrations, and even emotional residue. For chosen ones whose souls are already sensitive and spiritually elevated, this exchange can either amplify their power or dilute it, depending on the partner. When you abstain from sex, you're not denying yourself pleasure. You're choosing divine purpose over momentary passion. This decision pulls your focus away from the physical and toward the metaphysical. Ancient spiritual teachings from Taoism to early Christian mysticism emphasize celibacy not as a denial of life, but as a portal to enlightenment. Your sexual energy, also known in Eastern traditions as Kundalini or life force energy, is the same energy used in creation. When this energy is conserved rather than constantly expelled, it begins to rise within you, activating higher states of awareness, intuition, and spiritual authority. Modern neuroscience even supports this. Studies show that extended abstinence can lead to increased mental clarity, better emotional regulation, and even heightened creativity. But more importantly for the chosen ones, it sharpens your spiritual discernment. You begin to hear divine messages more clearly, feel the universe's nudges more intensely, and trust your intuition without second guessing. You become a clearer vessel for divine energy to flow through. While sex can create a temporary rush of dopamine, what follows is often a crash, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. But divine connection brings peace that doesn't fluctuate with circumstances. It's a constant, a compass, a fire that burns without consuming. By withdrawing from the distractions of the flesh, you walk boldly into the presence of God, the universe, source. Whatever you call the divine, in this sacred stillness you meet your true self. You remember your divine assignment. You embody your highest power. This isn't about rules or shame. It's about reclaiming your sacredness. As a chosen one, abstinence becomes less about what you're saying no to and everything about what you're saying yes to. Your purpose, your peace, your power. Now, chosen ones, I want you to understand that this is not about making sex a bad thing. It's about understanding the incredible power of your energy and the choice to direct it where it serves you best. When you stop having sex, you reclaim your energy, your purpose, and your divine connection. You become the master of your desires, not the other way around. And in doing so, you ascend higher into your spiritual journey, awakening your true self and unleashing your highest potential. Remember, your energy is sacred. Treat it as such, and the universe will reveal all the wonders it has to offer you. Stay awake, sacred tales. Keep walking your path with intention. And remember, the power within you is limitless.